You're listening to School Counseling Simplified, a podcast with easy-to-implement strategies for busy school counselors. Here's your host, Rachel Davis from Bright Futures Counseling.
Do you know what's been a game changer for my program? Starting the year with a Meet the Counselor lesson. Let's face it, even if you've been at your school for years, there are still students and staff who don't know what counselors do. That's why starting the year with a Meet the Counselor lesson is vital no matter where you are in your counseling journey. By outlining exactly what your responsibilities are, and are not, what situations you're available to help with, and what isn't a good fit for your program, you will set clear expectations and take the confusion out of the counselor's role. Join me in a free live training where I'll be sharing how you can use a Meet the Counselor lesson to engage students and advocate for your role. And for showing up live, you'll get a PD certificate and a free Meet the Counselor lesson to use on your own. So in this training, I'm going to show you the ins and outs of my favorite Meet the Counselor activity. I'm going to show you how to organize it, set it up, and deliver a perfect Meet the Counselor lesson. Then I'll share how you can use that Meet the Counselor lesson to ensure that you're impacting more students. By explaining exactly what your role is and how students can utilize your services, you'll reach more students and have a larger impact. And finally, I'll show you how you can use that Meet the Counselor lesson with staff to advocate for your position. I'll show you how you can edit it so it can be better used with faculty and staff. Now, you're about to start the year by reaching more students than ever before. Does that sound great or what? When students know what services you offer and how to contact you, they're going to feel more comfortable reaching out. When faculty finally understands what the job of a school counselor is and isn't, they'll send more and better referrals. Taking the stigma out of going to see the counselor is vital to a thriving school counseling program, and an effective Meet the Counselor lesson is one of the best tools for getting started on the right foot this year. So I hope you'll join me in my free live training. It's on August 13th and August 14th. I'm offering a couple different times for you guys. Go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/MTC for Meet the Counselor. Again, that's stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/MTC to save your seat. I'll be sharing how you can use that Meet the Counselor activity to engage students and advocate for your role. Like I said, just for showing up live, you'll get a free lesson and a PD certificate of attendance. Again, that's August 13th and 14th. I got a couple different times, so save your seat at stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/MTC. All right, guys, can't wait to see you there. It's back to school season. Yay! I absolutely love the start of a new school year. It reminds me of when I was a kid getting all of my school supplies at the stores, my big Lisa Frank binders and all of that fun stuff. But really, I was thinking about those Lisa Frank binders the other day and what was up with the themes? There were dolphins on spaceships and panda bears on rainbows, just crazy stuff, but they were so fun. That's what I always think of when it comes to back to school. But what you're probably thinking of when it comes to back to school is, what am I going to do this year? Help! So I've got 2 freebies that you absolutely have to download. So the first one is a 30, 60, 90-day plan, and I give you a checklist of what you can do during your first 30, 60, and 90 days as a school counselor. This is a great way to break down that seemingly overwhelming to-do list that you have. So to snag that one, go to bit.ly/306090counseling. Again, bit.ly/306090counseling. And the other freebie I have, y'all, I'm so pumped for this one. If you haven't downloaded these lesson plans yet, you absolutely have to. I have for you a free year-long curriculum map telling you when to do and what to do every single month across every single tier. So these are lesson plans for elementary school counselors. I have in there what class lesson, what small group, what individual activity, and which data tool to use and when to use it and how to use it. You're going to love these. Again, they're free counseling lesson plans for you guys. Go to bit.ly/counseling lesson plans to download those. It's bit.ly/counseling lesson plans. Okay, guys, I'm also going to throw the links in the show notes to make it a little easier for you. I hope you love these freebies and they make your school year so much fun. All right, back to the podcast. Hey there, thanks for listening to another episode of School Counseling Simplified. So if you've been listening this summer, I've done a lot of guest interviews, and I love to have guests on the podcast because it's a great way to hear from other counselors and to learn what others are doing. And I love doing an interview, but I haven't done some solo episodes in a while, so I decided to do August all solo episodes. And I'm excited because we're really going to focus on back to school. Now, I know you guys are busy, so my goal for these August episodes is to keep these like short and sweet and give you actionable strategies that you can use right away to feel motivated and excited for back to school. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Week 1 of August today, I want to talk to you guys all about a school counseling office tour. So if you are a new school counselor, you probably have office decor on the brain. I know that was something I was most excited for. But I want to make something clear. Sometimes we see pictures on Pinterest or on Instagram or TikTok and we get excited because we're like, oh my gosh, these offices are beautiful. But we also may feel a little discouraged in comparison. Like, oh, I don't have the money to buy supplies to make my office look like that, or I don't have a space that looks like that. And I heard a counselor the other day, and she was asking like, I don't know what to do. I'm afraid they're going to put me in like a closet or a really small space again this year, and she was kind of stressing about that. And the thing is, I told her the feedback of like, your office doesn't just have to be in your office, or counseling doesn't just have to happen in your office, right? Counseling's happening all over campus. You're going in and out of classrooms. You're doing class lessons. You're doing push-in support. You can do lunch bunches outside. You can, do conflict resolution on the playground. You can pull kids aside in the hallway. You can do morning greetings at drop-off. So there's so many ways that you can do counseling outside of your office. That being said, we love our office and we want our office to be a confidential, safe space for students to come. And it's fun to decorate. Let's just be honest, right? But even if you have a closet or like a quirky space, or even if you're sharing a space, I've done that in the past, don't let it bum you out, because you can still totally be an awesome counselor regardless of the kind of office setup you have. So today I'm giving you a breakdown of how I had my office set up so you guys can get an idea and a plan for yours. Okay, so there is, let's see here, we've got 7 different areas I want to talk about. Okay, first up is the calm down corner. So I believe this is a must-have in any counseling office. A calm down corner is a safe space where kids can come when they need help managing those strong emotions. This part of your office, you want this to feel cozy and welcoming. So this is a place where you're going to keep like some pillows, some fidgets, maybe you have like some lighting over there. You really want to be mindful of like texture and sound, and just imagine a kid coming in, they're storming in from like a meltdown and they just need to decompress. What do you want that to feel like? That's what I want you to think about. I had a bulletin board near mine with some calming mandalas indicating different emotions. You can have like a feelings check poster over there. You can have some headphones for like sensory, just anything you're thinking of to help calm down. Think about yourself when you're really angry. What do you want to do? I want to go like turn off all the lights and cover my ears and lay on my bed. So that's kind of the vibe that I create for the students in that space. Now I also have like some guided meditation scripts there. So if the child like needs help, I can come over. Some kids want to do this independently, and depending on age and situation, you'll figure that out. But you can always kind of guide them through a guided meditation to help them calm down. So I have those on hand for me. Like I said, those feelings check posters. And I have a little coping strategies toolbox with some calm down cards. So it's like some different options they can see for choices that they can do. So they may not know what to do when they're in the calm down corner. So maybe it's like, oh, here are some choices you can do. You can listen to music, you can use a fidget, you can take deep breaths, and maybe put those on like a laminated cards on a ring or something like that, or in a little task box. And then for seating, like I said, rugs, bean bags, anything like that. The next spot is bulletin boards. So I like to have bulletin boards inside and outside my office. So I love a bulletin board in the hallway to display anything that we're working on in counseling. Like sometimes I'll showcase things that my groups are doing, or different things like that, different like banners. If we have like a bullying prevention pledge or something, we could display that there. The role of the school counselor, a data wall, you may have heard me talk about those. Anything like that I love to do on an exterior bulletin board. But inside your office, you can have a bulletin board too. I have one with some zones of regulation, colors, and clothespins where the kids can kind of check in to how they're feeling. So they just walk in and move the little clip. And the clips don't even have to have their names on them, because you're going to be seeing tons of different students. It's not like you have a classroom, But you can just observe as the counselor who's putting their clip where. This way it remains anonymous, but you can kind of like check out and see how everyone's feeling. Now, if you don't have a bulletin board, like a cork board inside your office, no worries. What I've done before is just got a piece of butcher paper, hung it on the wall, and then gotten one of those borders. You can get those little borders at a school supply store, put them around it, and then you can make your own bulletin board. So you couldn't necessarily use like pins on it, but you could tape, no problem. So I love to do that as well. Posters are something else you can consider. You can, buy posters. I used to have like some bullying ones, or you can print some off TPT. Has a lot of good options. I bought some one time that were growth mindset, like tropical posters with like some growth mindset statements. So anything like that to add some inspirational decor. But of course, it's the counseling office, so you do want to be mindful that it's not, overstimulating, because you are going to have those students who are coming in to calm down many times. Now, your desk. The desk is important. When I first had my desk, it was facing the wall. And I didn't like that. I just kept it that way the whole year because that's just how it was when I entered the office. I didn't even think to move it the first year. But I didn't like it because I couldn't see my window when people would walk by my door. And I'd like to kind of see what's coming at me, I don't like having my back turned. And I just felt like it was like standoffish to students if I had to like hop on my computer to print something or to grab something while they were in my office. So then the next year I turned it around away from my wall, and I had the desk kind of in the center of the room facing, so whoever comes in, I could see them and chat with them. So I love to have it that way. And so, the desk is likely something that's provided to you by the school. It's probably very basic, but it's functional. I like to have a file cabinet. I have a file folder with each student's info, easily accessible. And then I have like some basic office supplies and like an essential oils diffuser. And a whiteboard. So in addition to like bulletin boards, if you have a whiteboard, that is so awesome. I love to have a dry erase board because you can do any kind of group activity to save paper on there. You can project videos or anything on there, boom cards. You can just write like on the fly examples up there. I like to have the kids play emotions, hangman up there. Anything. So if you have a whiteboard, or if you can get one, it comes in handy more than you think it may. And the small group space. So the small group space, I love to use a round table or a kidney table to lead the small groups. This way all students feel equal, and it's a great way to facilitate those conversations. So I like this idea to have a round table if you can with like 5 or 6 chairs, and that's where you're going to do your small group work. Now, I also like to have clipboards. So just in case you're doing a self-assessment or a journal or something that you want to be a little more confidential and you don't want the kids to see each other's work, they can grab a clipboard and go to another space in the office and sit on a pillow to answer that. Now, in addition to the small group space, I also like to have a talk space. So this is where you could have like a comfy chair, a beanbag, or a couch. It's nice if you have something that's like adult size seating in case you have a parent come in. There's nothing more awkward than having like a parent or a principal have to sit in a pre-K chair. It's kind of just funny, the power dynamics there. But I like to have an adult size couch or something if possible. And I love a couch opposed to like a table because I can come sit with them. I don't like to talk to parents. I like to talk with parents. So instead of like staying behind my desk and behind my computer very officially, I like to go join them with just like a clipboard or something and sit beside them on the couch and chat. And I always have a box of tissues on my table because you never know. And then the last part of your office you may not even be considering is the door. So that is some prime real estate that you can use. So on the door, I love to have like a "Where is the counselor" sign indicating where I'm at, like with a clothespin. That way I don't get interrupted. And that way it shows kids where I am if they need me. So if I'm with a student, I'll have with a student, so hopefully no one barges in. But if I'm in the lunchroom or something, I would put in the lunchroom. That way if they need me, they can come find me quickly. So I recommend having one of those. I also like to have some self-referral forms out there, especially if you're working with older students. Or you could even have a little QR code linking to referral forms. So if parents, teachers, staff, students, anyone wants to come by, they can scan that to get a referral form going. So those are the parts of my office that I encourage you to think about whenever you are planning and prepping for your own office this year. So regardless of the space you have, try to be intentional about what's going where. So even you could have a tiny, tiny office, but it be very intentionally laid out and make sense for the people who are using it. Or you could have a huge office and it not make sense. So it really, size doesn't matter in terms of the office. It's just, functionality and the feeling that it provides for the students. I've even had counselors who get a classroom, and many of you may feel like that's a dream, but I've had counselors who get a classroom and they're like, ooh, I don't know what to do. It's way too big. It feels like not intimate enough, and they end up like blocking it off. So, too big can be bad, too small can be bad, but we will make anything work because that's what we do. Okay, guys, have an awesome week. I want to remind you again to please come to my Meet the Counselor training. I think you're going to love this. This is one of my favorite trainings I do. It's how to use a Meet the Counselor lesson to engage your students and advocate for your role. A Meet the Counselor lesson is so much more than just like a get to know you game. It can have a really big impact on your school, and I totally recommend starting your school year out with one. So I'll be talking all about how you can use that, and I'll be giving everyone who shows up a free Meet the Counselor lesson. So you don't want to miss this. Again, I have a couple times available, so go to stressfreeschoolcounseling.com/MTC to save your seat. Okay, talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to School Counseling Simplified. You can find the links from today's episode in the show notes. If you'd like to connect with Rachel, she's on Instagram and Teachers Pay Teachers at Bright Futures Counseling. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any episodes of School Counseling Simplified. Talk to you next week.